Welcome to Watch the Right Film, the show where we discuss, debate, and review black film. And this is a review of the new Jesse Owens biopic, Race.
Yeah, Boogie, what up? Boogie, what up? Boogie, what up? Hey, niggas say doing what? Doing what? Hey, but I bet that they don't do it like this.
I guess I'll start off by saying I really like the film. I have been anticipating seeing this movie for a while since I first seen the trailers. It felt like it was going to do some really interesting things. You know, it felt from the trailers you thought that you were going to get this raw, rugged version of Jesse Owens that was going to be, balancing the weight on his shoulders. Does he go to Berlin and race in the Olympics? Does he, stay here and, take a stance for, the black movement? The film almost portrayed his character as if he really didn't have so much of a say in it. In this film, it made it seem like whoever talked to him last, that's how he was going to base his decision on. So, these people over here are saying, you got to run for your country, boy. And he's like, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm excited about that. Then you got these people over here, and they're saying, like, we don't think you should run for the niggas. And so he's like, all right, I'm not going to run. Then you go back again. You should run. I'm going to run. You shouldn't run. All right, I won't run. The film starts off as a basic, generic African-American biopic. I mean, there's no really other way to say that. It's safe. It walks lightly. It doesn't try to be too controversial. It doesn't try to be. It's very, just blatant racism. You got, white people yelling, niggers, get off our school. Get out of our school, niggers. And, you get those black people that are mad about it, like, but, it just felt like I've seen this story before. But they did do a good job setting up the 1930s. I will say that the costume design, the sets were nice. You can really feel that you're in a different time period. They sort of seem to give Jason Sudeikis a little more screen time than he really deserved. There's a scene where, it's just Jason Sudeikis, but it has no effect on Jesse Owens' character at all, like none at all. It doesn't affect him at all. But they gave him that screen. Like he did really good in this. A lot of the performances in this film were really good. But I just think that it was less about Jesse Owens and more about the bigger picture, but not necessarily how Jesse Owens affected this bigger picture. That he was just almost like Iron Man at the end of the Avengers when he saved the planet. That's really it. He had a role, but it didn't feel like this movie was big enough for him. So every time the film would seem like it's going to get real, it's going to get raw, they would undercut it with this jazzy sort of boom, boom, boom. This sort of swinging 20s music. And it really just kind of threw me off because you want the story to be serious, but it kept just being indulging in trying to create this nostalgic feeling of the 1930s. And these are sort of things that are going to happen when you don't have the proper people creating content that is for them. How are you going to have a movie about Jesse Owens but not have anybody black, directing behind the camera or anything like that? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's why the movie was more focused on, a sort of brotherly bond between Jesse Owens and his trainer, as opposed to how Jesse Owens was able to, push forward these racial boundaries and stick it to Hitler. So you have two writers that are white, a man and a woman. I can't remember the names, Anna and John, I believe. And you also have a director who's white, who's been working in Hollywood for a lot of years. My question is, why couldn't they find black writers to write this movie? Or why couldn't they find a black director to direct this movie? So these are the sort of things that go back to Oscar So White, because you have a film about one of the greatest black, athletes of all time, and it's written by two white people, and it's directed by a white man. Now, the second half of the film is amazing. It's tense. You see him running these races. You see him doing these jumps. It's, you really have to see the film just for the last 30 minutes. That whole scene, it was emotional. It was tense. I kind of teared up at the end of the film because it really takes you there, you know what I mean? But it could, like I said, there's things to want from the movie. I'm gonna give it 3 fist pounds anyways, because that ending, the way it ends is really good. There's a scene actually that could have been clipped. It's a scene where after everything happens, it's historical, so it's not like I'm spoiling anything. But there's a scene where you know, after everything has happened, you're on this high of highs. You're seeing clips of, you know, the real Jesse Owens. And then they add this little scene that really just kind of undercuts him, if anything. It doesn't leave you with the high feeling of Jesse Owens. It tries to, you know, bring you back to reality, but it doesn't work. And that's due to, like I said, the poor directing choices that this person made. So that's our review of the new film Race. And this is Watch the Right Film, the show where we discuss, debate, and review black film